Hello, mixtresses and mixters. This is mixtressrae. You're watching Mixtress video, and as per usual, my nails are chipped, and I've already taken off all my rings for the day. So I'm the least fancy that I've been all day, and now is when I choose to record. Wonderful. Also, I'm kind of in Christmas mode. I just watched The Suicide Squad, and the one from this year, and it was fucking bonkers, but also really fun. You know what? I want you guys to see my little cat. Oh, look at her. Look at this beautiful little kitten holding a candy cane. She's gonna preside over our activities today. Okay, so this is kind of a VR to Sylvain because he had an idea to do an unfair comparisons of decks that have keywords. So mostly this unfair comparisons is going to be focusing on the keywords only. So all three of these decks do not have keywords in the major arcana, but this one does. So what we're comparing today is Thoth, Crow's Magic, Lost Holo, and Field Tarot. So interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And I'm not going to throw all the cards on the floor this time. I am going to do it proper. Okay, here we go. So I believe that most of the keywords that are in the minor arcana of Lost Holo are the same as they are in the Thoth deck, but I think there are some differences, so I've never actually looked to see what the differences are, so this will be educational. I will let you know I have altered some of the imagery in Field Tarot. This card in particular, she was naked in the original image, and I have no problem with nudity. It was triggering for me because of the thigh gap. So I gave her a skirt because the thigh gap in this card was really unrealistic. So I haven't really worked with this deck in a while. Some cards in this deck I really, really like, and others it's just are almost deal breaker cards. So this will be kind of an interesting, let's give this deck a little bit of a critical eye right now. It's a weird time to do it comparing them against these other decks, because these other decks, this one I think is going to stick out the most like a sore thumb. I don't know, but these are all very different art styles. This one is a kind of a 4-color deck because it's black, white, gray, and red. This one is sort of a pastel palette, computer animation. All three of these are kind of computer animation, whereas this one's oil paintings, I believe. I might be wrong about the material, but I know that they're legit paintings, which most of the time I prefer that to computer animation. Computer art, digital art. Computer art. I sound like I'm 85. Okay, anyway, let's get started. Both of these decks have astrological symbolism, like the actual symbols in the cards. A lot of the Thoth deck has the symbols in the cards. So this one, so I'm going to be pointing out the keywords as well. So in the beginning, when we're going through the major arcana, the only keywords I will be pointing out are the only ones that are present, which are on Crow's Magic. So here we have the Fool, Wanderer, and Explorer. You would think that the Fool in Crow's Magic would be a crow, but I believe this is an eagle. The face looks like an eagle. And what's the deal with this one little, is this a missing feather in the middle here? See that? Because you can kind of see this object that's in the background. Yeah, it is, because this is the feather. Okay, I got you. All right. Wanderer and Explorer. I don't know if I said that. I think I did. I really love that. I had Lost Holo in my purgatory for maybe 6 months, and I recently rescued it, and I'm so glad I did because I'm really, really, really loving it now. I I just really appreciate it. It's interesting. Like, I don't even know what to say about it, but I really like that there's a crow in every single one of the major arcana cards. So kind of the crow is the fool in Lost Hollow. I mean, this one is renamed, so beginnings instead of fool. So I guess I'll point out whenever a card is renamed. I have one of the Thoth decks that has the 3 different Magus cards, Magus, and this is the one that I picked. This is the one I like the most. So I just took the other two. The other 2 were just in the box. So, Sorcerer and Alchemist here. There are several images in this Lost Hollow deck that remind me of Orphan Black. Any of you guys watch Orphan Black? Let's talk about it. Who's your favorite? Mine is, of course, actually, guess. Those of y'all that know me somewhat, who do you think my favorite Orphan Black character is? Let me know in the comments. I'll refrain from telling you if you're right or not, just so I can get a few guesses. I mean, eventually I'll tell you if you're right or not, of course. High Priestess, this one is just the Priestess. This one's Priestess. The other 2 are the High Priestess. Necromancer and Seer. Interesting, in all 3 of these we have kind of like a wingspan vibe. With the moth here, with the... I don't know what kind of bird this is. Let's say it's a crow. And with the Priestess here. I mean, she's got her arms spread. 2. Empress. Guess what? None of them are pregnant. Although this one says conception and intuition. The color scheme in this particular card really reminds me of Golden Girls. I don't know. Reminds me of like a Golden Girls tracksuit or something. I don't normally like care if the Emperor and the Empress match each other. You know, if I can see them as a couple. I do sort of see them as competent counterparts in the field tarot. You know, we've got a cat for the Empress, wolf for the Emperor. I love how fiery this Aries dude is in Thoth. Okay, so my mom has a greenie, and I've been getting more into Thoth lately. My mom has a greenie. I'm going to see her tomorrow. I'm going to see if she'll let me borrow her greenie. I know she will, because she previously has given it to me. And I don't think she uses it. It's possible she was holding on to it because she knows that at some point I'll want it. So soon I may have a greenie. Or at least I'll be borrowing it for a while from my mom. Hierophant, Sage, and Mentor. This deck is so unique, this Lost Hollow Tarot. Sometimes it's like a little bit, because of just the limited color palette and the intricacy of the artwork, sometimes like spread-wise, it's a little difficult to read with Lost Hollow. Lovers, we've got 2 back-to-back figures here. Twin Soul and Reverence. Interesting, Twin Soul. Because that is like a term that I think of as being like a modern term, but this deck was made in 1998. Butt's a butt. Chariot, Entity, and Channel. 2 moths in this one. 2 horses here. I don't understand. The Thoth chariot kind of like confuses me, to be honest. Like, why do we have... I mean, I'm sure there's an answer to this, since there's an answer to all the symbolism in Thoth. But, like, it's just, like, too many figures down here. It's just, this chariot card is too overstimulating for me, personally. That doesn't mean I won't make my peace with it later. All of these decks have Justice at 8. Except Lost Holo. Lost Holo actually comes with 2 extra cards. So you can either use Justice as 8 or as 11. And they're actually different artworks too. I might as well show you, because I have them still. So it's Adjustment. And it's this Jester looking chick if you go with the other ordering. And then I'll show you the extra strength card when we get there as well. Maybe I'll switch them out. I've had them this way the entire time because I do prefer having strength at 8 just because I like the astrological order. But since these other 3 decks already had that order, I chose to do it that way. Balance and equalize. Adjustment. Justice. I don't really like the word adjustment going with justice just because it reminds me too much of temperance. I mean, temperance and justice have some similarities to them anyway, but why confuse things even more? God, this Hermit card is really fucking gorgeous, isn't it? It's weird. I used to really not like the art in the Thoth deck, but I'm like getting into it. This one kind of has similar line work, or it's not similar line work, but just like similar energy lines, I guess. Self and internal. Fortune, Wheel of Fortune, Fortune and Fortune. So this is the only one that's called Wheel of Fortune in Crow's Magic. Cycle and Fate. I really like this one. The white cat on the darker background and then the black cat on the lighter background. That sort of sense of movement. But I think out of these, there's a lot going on in this Lost Holo card. There's a lot going on. And it's hard to see because of the limited color palette. I do like this one though. Crow's Magic might be my favorite of those. Strength, Endurance, and Fortitude. Ah, this card is just so fucking sweet. Oh my god. This might be like maybe my favorite strength card. I just love it. How big the lion is and how she's just trusting him completely. I like this one too though, even though it doesn't have animal energy in it. Usually anytime you take away animal energy in the symbolism of a tarot card, I get pissed. But I like this one because I just feel like the strength is within, you know? I really like that one too. Oh, and this is the other strength card that you can choose to include with Lost Holo. I don't know if that's still the case. I would assume so with the new version of Lost Holo, the borderless version. This one's pretty cool too, though. But it's still called Strength instead of Lust. Go ahead and put that back in the box before I forget. Oh my god! Sorry. Throwing the 10 around. It's still called Strength instead of Lust. Even though the Lost Holo chose to rename Justice Adjustment in the 8 position. They did not do that same thing with the Strength card. They didn't go Thoth on that one. Hanged Man. Hanged One, and this one is Perspective. I actually really love this. Really love it. That's the thing about, like, there's a little bit of a problem with internal consistency with this field tarot, because, like, there are really cool, abstract, interesting textures and images like this. But then sometimes I just feel like this deck would have been served better if it had leaned into this being the theme throughout the whole deck. Just like stuff like this. We don't even need people, you know? Transcend and evolve. I feel like I'm not consistently saying the keywords, which is the whole point of this, so I'm sorry. Death. Mutate and regenerate. Props to all of these decks for not, you know, renaming death like transformation or some shit. God, I think this one's my favorite though. The crow with the skull and the rose and the rising sun in the background. And there's like the dead pope, because it's got there's a little pope hat in the grass back there. Temperance. I'm also possibly not consistently pointing out when I've altered images in field tarot, but I'm going to try to point it out when basically all of this shit is not consistent. It's just me pointing it out when I notice it. Temperance. Chemistry and fusion. This one is art. This one, I added the rainbow in between the cups, and I added the little, like, sun at the top. Can you believe there was, like, no energy flowing between these two cups? Originally, the rainbow wasn't there. I added it. What the fuck? Devil. Magnetism and lure. Field Tarot actually has, I think all three of these decks actually pull from Thoth. And it's possible that the reason that these three decks have keywords is because they're inspired by the Thoth deck. This fucking Tower card is so uninspired. I really hate it. I really do. It's just so boring looking. Like, you could have created some sort of, like, frantic, abstract imagery, something or other, you know? This one's great. This one's amazing. And you still have that sort of electrocuting eye situation in both of these. Hey, you have that here, too. I never noticed that before. There's a little eye in the top of this tower. Because the thing about Lost Holo is it was intentionally created as sort of, it's supposed to be like sort of an amalgamation of the RWS deck, the Golden Dawn, and also Thoth, I think. I think it was those three. Of course, both of those are based on are both Golden Dawn systems anyway. Star. Empyrean and Celestial. Gorge. This one I added the skirt because, again, we were dealing with like an unnatural thigh gap situation. You could like see through her ass, which was just not right. Lost Holo is an example of diversity done right, I think, because there's a lot of diversity in this deck. Almost like they might have been sitting there checking boxes. Okay, well, I need to make sure that I have this kind of person and this kind of person and this kind of person. But it's still done with, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't feel like even though they may be checking off boxes, it doesn't feel like they're checking off boxes. It doesn't feel forced to me. It just feels like this deck is just so like fucking, I don't know, sexy. decadent. I don't know. The moon. I mean, like, see, like, I don't know. This card is just so fucking boring. Like, what? It's just a person holding some flowers looking at the moon. When they chose to do this with the sun card. This is a spectacular sun card. But I don't know, anytime this particular artist does humans, it's not super believable to me. It just doesn't look great. Lunacy and delusion, the keywords here. This is a really sweet sun card, this one from Lost Holo with the red sunflowers. I like it. I like all of these sun cards, actually. Power and Genesis. These are all named Judgment except the Thoth, which is the Eon. How fucking spectacular is this goddamn card? This might be my favorite card in the Thoth deck so far. Just have so much going on, but yet it doesn't feel overstimulating. That's the thing. If you're going to have a lot going on in a card, you need to... I mean, things can't all have the same visual weight if you're going to have a lot going on in a card. Awaken and Metamorphose. Metamorphose. How do you say that word? I don't know. I really like this Judgment card, though. Anything that's not like a fucking trumpet raising the dead. I mean, there's still a little bit of a raising the dead quality here. But this feels like much more Matrix-y. And I do think the most Matrix-y card of any card in the tarot is the Judgment card, right? Oh, wow. All of these are named Universe. That kind of supports my theory that they're more based on Thoth. I love this. I mean, I realize that, like, it's very basic, but I just think it's so gorgeous. Chakra moment. Your chakras are all aligned. It's the Universe card. Yes, I am here for it. Absolutely. This one's good. This one's good. This one's fine, sure. Oh, wait. Totality and wholeness on that one. Okay, now we're getting into the ones where we're actually going to get to compare keywords against each other. Okay, let's take a drink of my hibiscus LaCroix. LaCroix. Okay. They're all wands. Success and rule. Energy. I do not like the wands in this deck. I don't know. Just the shape of them. Don't love it. And it's not consistent throughout, as you can see. Don't love it. Success and rule. I think I prefer energy in that case over success and rule. Enterprising and bold. Dominion. Influence and planning. So they're all different for the Two of Wands. I kind of like enterprising and bold. I think that's the winner there. Not that I'm keeping track. Virtue, ingenious, savvy, virtue, and vision. This feels a little phoned in. I mean, I love a Three of Wands that's in the shape of a triangle. I really do. But this one, you could have done better. I don't like virtue. Definitely don't like virtue. Vision might win here, but I don't know. It's not what I would choose. Okay, so this does deviate more often from the Thoth than I thought already. Four of Wands, completion, stamina and potency, fulfillment, and celebration. I think celebration wins for me as far as the keyword, although this image is boring. Five of Wands, strife, turmoil and disorder, strife again, and competition. I'd go with competition. But again, this is my least favorite of the images, but the keyword I like. I think one of the reasons why I keep this field tarot. I mean, there are several reasons why I keep it, but one of them is that I generally enjoy the keywords, I think. Six of Wands, victory, archetype, and victor, victory, and success. I mean, I always see the Six of Wands as victory. It's pretty much the basic keyword that people associate with Six of Wands, right? Seven of Wands, valor, persevere and endure. Valor and valor. Valor all around. And my personal Seven of Wands keyword is not universal. Like, not everyone would like it, but it's Slayer. So this one looks the most like a Slayer. Well, maybe this one, actually. Eight of Wands. Swiftness, exceed and surpass. Swiftness and movement. I don't know. I don't really like any of that. Nine of Wands, strength. Dazed and confused. That is not how I see Nine of Wands at all. Fortitude and resilience. Fortitude makes sense. Fortitude is just a synonym for strength, though. Resilience makes sense, too. Dazed and confused, not at all. No. I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say... The only thing that's dazed and confused is that it's hard to actually see the facial structure of this lion. This is one that bothers me. Oppression as a keyword for Ten of Wands. Oppression. I don't think of it as oppression. Burden, maybe. Misery and torment, no. It's not that extreme. I see the Ten of Wands energy as being like, you've got this, but it is a little bit overwhelming. You know? It's like, you're going to be okay, but maybe you could put some sticks down. You know? Overstimulation, really, is what I would use for the... If I were going to do a tarot deck with keywords. Okay. Interestingly, both of these decks do Princess, Prince, Queen, King. This one is controversial. I know this is not how you're supposed to read Thoth, but I see the Knight as the Knight in Thoth. So I go Princess, Knight, Queen, Prince. And I know that's not how you're supposed to see it, but the goddamn knights are on horses. Don't confuse me, okay? I'm a Thoth beginner. Okay, don't yell at me in the comments. Okay, that's how we're comparing today. The knights are being compared to the princes and the knights. Fuck yes to this Princess of Wands. How fucking badass does that chick look? I mean, shit. This chick too. So badass. Holy balls. Secret, enigma, and exploration is what we have here. Shape, shift, and change. Hell yeah. Y'all should know. If you don't, now you do. I love me a pterodactyl. Seriously. You put a pterodactyl in anything, I'm into it. Okay. There you go. I would probably buy an entire pterodactyl tarot deck. Let me know when you start your Kickstarter. I will fund it, even though I'm anti-Kickstarter. Prince of Wands. Also, this one is instigation. Generally don't like the court cards in the field tarot. Queen of Wands. We got a cat. We got a spider. We got a cat. This one did not have a cat. I added the cat. Keyword for Crow's Magic is theorize and calculate. Keyword for this one in field tarot is vibrancy. She's pretty badass, though. Seems to be my word of the day. I've said badass so many times today. Prince of Wands. King of Wands, disciplined and devoted. This guy is cool. I believe this guy as a King of Wands. This guy, what the fuck kind of elven tiny baby is this? Leadership. I don't see this guy as a leader. I'm sorry. He's canceled. I canceled him right now. Everybody make gossip videos about him on the internet. Do it. Okay. Ace of Cups. Kind of boring and pastel. Kind of intriguing. Blood and a dove. Lots of birds. Rapture and ecstasy. And love. So I'm surprised. I thought that almost all of the keywords were the same in Lost Holo based on the Thoth, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Although it is here. Love. So sweet, right? This is a sweet Two of Cups. This I'm okay with. We've got symmetry here. I hate this one. I just don't like the way that the way that this artist does people. Who is the artist? I can stop just saying she and I can look it up, right? Okay. Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. Doesn't that sound fake? I think it sounds fake. Anyway, let's move on to the Three of Cups. Abundance, fruition, realization, abundance again, and friendship. I mean, I do kind of think of it as a friendship card, but I like abundance because abundance can apply to many different situations. It's not, friendship makes the card feel a little bit more limited, you know? Four of Cups, luxury, opportunity, and change. Again, luxury, and this one is meditation. I like meditation. Five of Cups, disappointment, distance and ether, disappointment and disappointment. Disappointment doesn't quite give me the gravity of the Five of Cups. I think if I were doing a keyword tarot deck, I would choose grief as the keyword for Five of Cups. Six of Cups. My God, look how sweet the Six of Cups is. So sweet. Pleasure, past, and reminisce with a gorgeous little quail bird. Hell yeah. You know those like 70s like gold quail statues? I went antiquing the other day and with my family, and I saw so many of those, and I don't know why I didn't buy one, because little secret, little known fact about me, little known to the internet, but everyone in my real life knows, I love a bird statuette. I cannot resist. Oh my God. Okay. Pleasure. Okay, I already said that. Pleasure and innocence. I'm not sure how I feel about pleasure as a keyword for Six of Cups. I don't know. I mean, it does also feel limiting to sort of think of the Six of Cups as just a sort of nostalgia card. But that is the way that I think of it. Because I am pretty rooted in sort of basic bitch RWS systems. I still haven't really broken out of that. Seven of Cups, debauch. And I don't know if you say it that way. Wonder and chance, debauch again, and choices. I prefer choices. I do not think of the Seven of Cups as sort of this like slimy, mossy, moldy, dripping grossness. I do not think of the Seven of Cups that way at all. My pile is getting really tall over there. Eight of Cups, indolence, shy and timid, ennui, and retreat. Ennui is more of a keyword that I would use for the Four of Cups, not the Eight. Indolence. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't think I like any of those, really. Not sure what. I feel like the Eight of Cups can't really be summed up in just one card. Like, yes, it's retreat, kind of, but it's more like a soul's journey, like a vision quest, almost. Nine of Cups, happiness, wish and desire, happiness again, and fulfillment. I think fulfillment kind of gets at it without being super basic. It's interesting because like the keywords on Field Tarot feel innovative to me a lot of the time, but the imagery does not. Ten of Cups, I don't know how you say this word, but I think it's satiety, because you're satiated, so it's probably satiety, but it just sounds weird to say. Satiety, satiety, satiety. Blend and meld, attainment, and harmony. I think attainment wins for me on this one. Plus, I really like this card because it still has the sort of like Tree of Life setup, right? I might be wrong about that because I don't know enough about it, but I think that's what that is. That's sort of the pattern of the cups. But this chick looks so fucking cool. And she's got 4 arms. These people look like her bitches. Yeah, I'm into it. Whatever. Princess of Cups, unearthly and mystical. And this one is dreams. I added the fish. The fish was not there. I think I did a pretty damn good job actually on this one. Use like metallic markers. I like it. That's also one of the reasons why I haven't moved this deck on, even though I don't use it very often. Sometimes the perspective and the focus of the artwork in the Thoth deck is confusing to me. Like, this one sort of leaves me a little cold because I like the movement of the dress and everything, and how there's like a tortoise situation and a shell happening, and like there's a lot of cool stuff happening. But the fact that her head is just so tiny and has no visual weight in the image kind of bugs me. In this card, I added the sort of jewelry that the Prince of Cups is wearing. Spellbind and Charisma. I don't like this one because I'm kind of picky about a Knight of Cups. And this one just, he looks very emotionally unavailable because of the helmet that's on his head. And that's the opposite of what the Knight of Cups is all about. The Knight of Cups is extremely emotionally available, like too emotionally available. Spellbind and Charisma and Introspection. I don't know about introspection. Queen of Cups. Again, it's like we can barely see this chick's face. Maybe it'll be easier because this is kind of a mini deck. You know, this is a standard tarot card size, and this is like half an inch shorter. So maybe when I get my hands on the greenie, it's going to be like an oversized deck, which will make it more difficult to shuffle, but maybe I'll be able to see all these details a little bit better. Shaman and Enchanter. I do like shaman as a keyword for Queen of Cups. I like that a lot, actually. Intuition. Intuition works, but like this chick, like she's not a queen of anything. I'm sorry. She's like a influencer of cups, maybe. I don't know. Not a fucking queen, though. She's not a fucking queen. Prince, King, Diviner and Sage, and Control. Control is confusing because, like, most likely what she meant here was emotional control, which I do think of the King of Cups as having emotional control, but using the word control by itself has negative connotations, I feel, for the King of Cups. And this guy just looks like Sean Connery or some bullshit, and I'm not here for that. I know most people are, but I'm not. I'm not, okay? Ace of Swords. Powerful and dynamic and clarity. I think I like clarity as the key word, but this is such a boring card. It's just like so wispy. God, you'd think I hate this deck, but whenever I use the Field Tarot for spreads, it's pretty fucking great. Two of Swords, one of the Libra cards that's really important to me. Peace, symmetry, and poise. Again, peace and decisions. I added the purple moon at the top in this card. Just so you know, I do think this one's my favorite imagery-wise, and I do really love peace as a keyword for Two of Swords. I love it a lot. Thanks to one of y'all that watched my video, I now have a letterpress print of the Two of Swords from Lost Holo Tarot, because mine came with, I backed the Kickstarter of like the mini version of the deck, and it came with a full letterpress print and a Wheel of Fortune. But I didn't really like the Wheel of Fortune, and so I like mentioned it in a video, and somebody traded me their Two of Swords, which was amazing because I'm very happy with it. It's up on my, I might be able to show you right now, okay? Brace yourself for tripod weirdness. See it? See it over there? That's about as good as I can do right now. Let's see if I can get this back kind of where it was. Mostly. Okay, Three of Swords. pain, grief, sorrow. So 3 of these say sorrow. I do like that Londa Marks, who created Crow's Magic, she most of the time has a different keyword. I do think she was probably influenced by the Thoth deck to some extent, but most of the time she's not stealing the keywords, which is fine if you are. Like, I'm not saying that these decks are inferior because they're stealing the keyword from Thoth, but I think I prefer the imagery of this one. I think my keyword for the Three of Swords would be boundaries. Four of Swords, truce, restore and rejuvenate, truce again, and rest. Truce makes sense. I like rest. I like restore and rejuvenate too. Spiky butt. Five of Swords, defeat, distress and confusion. Defeat and defeat. I do not like defeat as a keyword for Five of Swords. I think my personal keyword for Five of Swords would be, I know I have it, but what is it? I mean, it's self-defeat. It's self-sabotage. So maybe it would be a keyword. It would be, 2 words. Self-sabotage. Or isolation, maybe, even. Or masochism, perhaps. Because I think of it as you're turning the swords upon yourself. Six of Swords, science. I know Sylvain has talked about this card and why it makes sense for science. I'm not sure how it makes sense for me. I don't know how to reconcile this card yet, but I haven't worked with the Thoth a super lot. Six of Swords, navigate and progress. I like this, the owl flying through sort of the fortress of swords with the rose, and there's still the cross imagery in both of these. Success and transition. I think that my favorite, again, for the keyword is transition. But I like the sort of surfacing imagery here in the Lost Holo Tarot. Seven of Swords, futility, cultivate and prolific, uncertainty and deception. I think uncertainty makes the most sense because I see the Seven of Swords as sort of a Schrodinger's cat situation where you don't know. You don't know if the person's telling the truth or not, and you're not going to know, so it's uncertainty. It's not necessarily that a person's trying to deceive you, and I don't think it's futile. Like, you don't have to know. We don't have to know everything. Sometimes the Seven of Swords is a good thing. It doesn't necessarily mean someone's lying to you, although sometimes it does mean someone's lying to you, but it doesn't always mean that. Eight of Swords, interference, trapped and confined, indecision and isolation. I think trapped and confined and indecision all make sense. I don't like isolation or interference. Nine of Swords, cruelty, crucified and tortured, cruelty and fear. I mean, sort of the the traditional RWS meaning is more aligned with the keyword of fear. Tortured makes sense to me. I don't see how cruelty fits. Again, this could just be because I haven't worked with the Thoth deck that much. So maybe I just don't get it yet. But I don't see the Nine of Swords as anyone being cruel to you. I see it as, okay, so I see the nines. 9 is my favorite number. Sylvain and I have that in common. I see the 9s as being an almost there kind of energy. And with the 9 of Swords, you're almost at an answer to your sort of psychological quandary, your sort of thought. Whatever it is you're thinking through, you're almost there. So you're having sleepless nights, and maybe you're having bad dreams because it's part of your mind working out that problem that you're trying to work through. So I definitely don't see cruelty as making sense within my own personal viewpoint of the Nine of Swords. 10 of Swords, ruin, black and clouded. Ruin again and despair. I drew the sort of like pooling gold skirt that turns into blood on this one. Imagery wise, I think I prefer Crow's Magic, then Lost Hollow, then Thoth, then Field Tarot. Keyword wise, I don't really like any of it. I do not see the 10 of Swords as, you know, you're pinned to the ground with 10 swords and you can't get up. You know, I need to see hope in a 10 of Swords. So imagery wise, I think I prefer Crow's Magic because there's the crow flying through this gridlock of swords. Like, it's hard, but she gonna get through. It's gonna be okay. Bats, Princess of Swords, captivation, entrance, and curiosity. Curiosity makes a lot of sense for Princess of Swords, I would say. Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. We have like a bluebird in Crow's Magic. Intent and hunger. This looks like a skinny, bald Debbie Harry to me. What do you think? God, I love the sort of comic book art of Lost Hollow. I definitely don't have any other decks like it, and I'm glad that, thank you to you guys, because I actually offered it for sale on my channel at one point, and nobody bit on that. And I'm kind of glad, because I would have just sold it and then not had it anymore. And I'm glad I have it. Determination. Oh, I added all the jewelry, like all the like metallic parts of this Prince of Swords. I added. Queen of Swords. Look at her. Jeez. This is like kind of a girl with a dragon tattoo / Kali energy, I think, which makes total sense as the Queen of Swords to me. I added the jewelry on her as well. I think this is the only one I love imagery-wise. I do like this one. I do like this one. I don't really like this one. Wow, there's a lot of cards in Field Tarot I don't like. Yeesh. Maybe it's time to move on from that deck. Prince of Swords, domination and mastery, and authority. Really don't like this guy. at all. I don't like any facial expressions in this deck. Like, at all. Any of them. Like, they're just not done well. Really like this guy. Wow, he's so cool. She's pretty cool too. I also enjoy like the sort of play with gender in the court cards of Lost Hollow. It doesn't feel forced to me. Sometimes a king looks like a dude, sometimes a king looks like a chick. Doesn't matter, the energy's the same. It's fine. Ace of discs, ace of coins, ace of pentacles, and discs. I prefer pentacles. Just like that word better, that's all. Wealth arising. Okay, sure. Okay, I'm tired now. I'll probably like go through the pentacles pretty quickly. Two of coins, change, cryptic and mysterious. Also change, also change. Imagery wise, I really, God, if this entire deck was just imagery like this, like why is it not? Oh, like this. When is there going to be a deck that is like this? I have similar problems with Mystic Mondays. There's so many fucking gorgeous cards in that deck, but anytime people are a part of it, it's like, no, that's not what this deck is about. This deck is about abstract imagery, mathematic, vaporwave style art. Don't do this to me. Three of Pentacles, works, imagination and ability, works and works. I think I prefer the imagery of the Thoth on this one. I do personally see the Four of Pentacles keyword as being fortress. So I like that you do sort of get a fortress depicted on the Thoth card. Miser and security, power, and stability. I do not like the word miser in association with the Four of Pentacles. Never have. I mean, sometimes that's holding on to your finances too tightly is a theme in the Four of Pentacles, but that doesn't mean you're a fucking miser. I don't know. I think for me, miser has and I could be wrong about this because I don't necessarily know from which I speak, but miser as a word feels to me a little bit anti-Semitic. And I don't think necessarily the word itself is that, but I think it's had that connotation so often in our society that, you know, I don't know. I don't like it. Just saying. Five of Pentacles, worry, concern and complexity, worry and destitution. Not sure what my keyword for Five of Pentacles is. But I don't think it's any of those. Six of Pentacles, success, gifts and bounty, prosperity and generosity. I think generosity is my favorite here. I added the nail polish and the nails on this, just so you know. I don't think Six of Pentacles is necessarily prosperity. It could be generosity. It could be equality. Equality is not the right word, but sort of like that give and take of energies. There's sort of a balance there. Seven of Pentacles, failure, production, reap, stagnation, and perseverance. I absolutely am not about failure and stagnation for the Seven of Pentacles. Not at all. Perseverance, yes. Production and reap, sure. Eight of Pentacles, prudence, knowledge and insight, prudence again, and dedication. I guess I don't really know what the word prudence means because all I think of is a fucking Beatles song and that gets in my head. Thankfully, it's usually the Susie and the Banshees version that gets in my head, which is preferable because I don't really like the Beatles. I know. Fighting words, but I don't really like the Beatles. I mean, I think of Eight of Pentacles as being like rolling up your sleeves, hard work, which you kind of see that happening in the imagery here in Lost Hollow, but I just don't know what the word prudence even means. So that's my own failure. Nine of Pentacles, gain, harmony, and chemistry, gain again, and culmination. I like how prominent this bird is on her shoulder. I really like that. I don't really like any of those keywords. I would say Nine of Pentacles is sort of like luxuriate, sort of resplendence. I don't know, maybe. Is that a word? I think it is. Ten of Pentacles, wealth, treasure, discovery, wealth again, and establishment. I kind of like establishment just in the sense of not like the establishment, but like the established rituals, established mores in a family. I don't know. I love this though. Again, anytime there's like a gorgeous abstract image, it resonates. Like if there's ever like another edition of this deck that takes out all the people, I'm going to be there for it. I'm just saying. Princess of Pentacles. I mean, she is fucking spectacular. Truly. Never noticed that she was pregnant until Sylvain mentioned it. Or was it Anna? One of y'all mentioned it in the last few days. And I'd never noticed it before. Expression and message and manifestation. I don't know. I don't know what my keyword for Princess of Pentacles would be. I don't know. I added the entire expression on this guy's face. It was just totally blank helmet. Prince of Discs, reliability, anchor, and essence. I mean, yeah, I do think of the Knight of Pentacles as being very reliable. So, okay, sure. Queen of Pentacles, bliss, comfort, and nurture. King of Pentacles, dedicated, adamant, and power. I think this one, imagery-wise, is definitely my favorite. Okay. This is very long. I'm sure. I had to stop at one point. I think it's at least probably an hour and 15 minutes. But thank you so much for being with me on this Unfair Comparisons journey. And I will probably do a VR to myself for my Ride or Die Unfair Comparisons because it's not fair that I didn't really do it. But I wanted to get the idea out there, and I already had all my decks in order. And I'm the kind of person that whenever a deck is in order, I have this compulsion to get it out of order immediately, so I had to do that video, but I didn't really have the time and the energy to do a full, real unfair comparison, so that's why I did the one where I threw all the cards on the floor. Thank you for indulging me in that, if you watched it. Yeah, and I would love to see any unfair comparisons. Like, I just want to put this out there in case I haven't said it before. Like, comparing decks to each other is a thing that people have done for a long time. And just because I do call it unfair comparisons doesn't mean that you can't call it unfair comparisons. I don't have a copyright on the phrase unfair comparisons. If you feel like pitting two decks up against each other and you feel like calling it unfair comparisons, do it. I'm just saying, if you enjoy that phrase, use it. Don't be shy. And it's really fun to do that project of comparing things to each other that really shouldn't be compared. It's fun. Anyway, thanks for watching.